Welcome, everyone. Welcome to our Turing Developer Town Hall. Super nice to have you guys here. I am Fernanda, Developer Success Manager here at Turing. Super happy to welcome you to this town hall. I have been working in the developer success team at Turing for the past year now. So have onboarded and oriented, engaged with hundreds of developers from all over the world. The main purpose of this town hall is to answer some very frequent questions that you have now that you have been through the tests, right? You have probably gone through the code challenge, technical tests, programming languages tests, and you were probably wondering, okay, so what's next? How do I start getting the jobs that I want? How can I get matched? And definitely that's what we want to. We want you guys to be successfully matched to one of our jobs. Your success is our success. This process depends upon many factors. And today we are here to talk to you about all those factors. What are the important things you have to take into consideration regarding our matching process? And what are some things that you can do to increase your chances of getting matched, to boost your matchability in our system? Okay, so without further ado, let me go ahead and share my screen. Okay, so let's go ahead. Let's take a quick look on today's speakers panel. Of course, I have already introduced myself, Fernanda from Brazil. We're also going to have Matko here. He's the head of matching at Turing. So he's the one who will be explaining to you what the matching process at Turing is all about and give you some tips and hints on things that you can do to increase your chances of getting matched. We'll also have Syed. Syed is our sub-lead from the developer support team at Turing, and he will join us for the questions and answers. Last but not least, we'll have Pedro here. Pedro is a senior software engineer hired through Turing. He has been in our developer community for a while now. He has a very nice and interesting journey with Turing. And he's going to be here to share with you guys how his experience in our platform was like. Okay, so when it comes to our big mission at Turing, we want to be this bridge to top remote US jobs. Very recently, Forbes mentioned us or considered us one of America's best startup employers. And we were also named by Fast Company as one of the 10 most innovative workplace companies for 2021. And this is what we want to build. Okay, we want to be more than a jobs platform. We want to be a careers platform. And of course, because we are a young startup scaling fast, we know that there's room for improvement, and we are working hard to make sure that every day we get a little bit better and we fulfill developers' necessities from the moment you subscribe with our platform and then going through tests, the matching process. We know that sometimes it can be time-taking, sometimes you're not really sure about your status, your feedback. All of those things we are aware of, and we are working to make sure that your experience within our platform gets better and better every time. When it comes to every developer's journey in our platform, we basically have three phases that all developers go through. Phase one is the vetting process. So you go through the seniority assessments, you take the Turing tests, you go through the coding challenge. Once you've passed this part, you are now on phase two. So you are supposed to finalize your resume, take the additional tests, keep improving, evolving, improving yourself, improving skills, and then getting job offers. Once you have successfully been matched with a customer, then you are like billing active, what we call phase three, enjoying a full-time engagement with one of our partner companies. Okay, so we are here today to talk to you about how you can move from phase two to phase three successfully. I'm super happy now to invite Matko. Hi, Matko.
Hi, Fernanda. Hi and welcome. My name is Matko. I'm in Croatia and I'm leading a matching team here at Turing. What exactly does that mean? I will let you know during this presentation. So to simplify things, you would need to know how this whole operation works. On the surface level, it's pretty simple, right? So there are clients somewhere. We have our sales guys and sales ladies talking to them. And these clients come join our platform and they post their jobs to our platform. We have a bunch of clients. We are working with startups in the US. We are working with enterprise companies in the US and across the world. So these jobs get posted all of the time. Whenever a job gets posted, our matching algorithm kicks in. We have a bunch of very talented machine learning and data science people working behind the screens to make it happen. And whenever a job gets posted, the matching algorithm kicks in and it flags few people that it thinks are okay for the job, right? Since no algorithm is perfect, there is always a human team, in this case, my team, who is checking these things manually and making sure that the algorithm did a good job. And even if it did a good job, we are making sure to cover all the details and all the shady bits that need to be covered before we can actually present you to the client. So if nothing is happening to you at the moment, you are probably at the point where matching algorithm never actually recognized that you are a qualitative candidate for the job. Most probable cause of this actually is that something is off with your data. Now, when you log into the platform, you leave all kinds of things on the platform, your resume, your salary expectations, your skill sets and whatnot. You go through the tests, you go to the coding challenge, you pass that, you take these tests and whatnot. You upload your resumes, you write about things that you have been doing, and all of it is data, right? And this is data that our algorithms use to recognize that you are a perfect candidate for a specific job. So if something is off with this data, most probably our algorithms will not recognize you. So what can possibly be off? You obviously pass these tests, but as many people do, you took just one or two, right? You took Node and React possibly, or you took Vue and Node, or you took PHP and Laravel, or things like that, right? Clients that are looking for a developer very rarely ask for a single thing. They very rarely ask just for a pure front-end developer with React. Last job we were looking at asked for a senior front-end engineer with React, but also with Next.js, also with some experience with UI UX design, also with some knowledge of the backend and so on. So if you are a front-end engineer and you just worked with React and you thought that taking React is going to be enough, basically it is, but in terms of being recognized by algorithm, it's not. You would need to take a couple of more things that you have come across during your career, whether it's Node, whether it's AWS, whether it's GCP, whether it's Firebase, whether it's Mongo, depending on what your tech stack is. And even if you have been working on something that you do not consider as your primary stack, or you have been working with something on a single project lasting for 6 months or a year, and you don't consider yourself an expert in it, but you have some knowledge, it's still a good idea to go back and take these tests, because more tests you have, the more likelier that you are going to be selected by our automated algorithm. Now, the idea is not to go back and take any random test that you may think of. There is a second component to this, which I will explain. So go back and take additional tests that have a meaning in your career, things that you have either been working on, things that you have extensive knowledge of, and things that you have production level experience with it. So what's the second component of all of this? As I mentioned, when you log into the platform, you upload your resume, right? So that resume gets parsed to the database, and when our algorithm goes through it, it compares the test that you have taken with what is written in your resume, right? So you have taken several tests. You have taken 5 or 6 or 7 of these tests, and then you have written it like this, right? So take a moment, see how it looks like. Can you answer how does any of these tests that you have taken relate to this specific thing? You can't. Our algorithms can't, human teams can't, and most importantly, the client can't either. So this type of resume will never get shared to the client, will never get flagged by our algorithm because it misses the context. Also, this one here as well, it's slightly better than this one, but still in terms of what this person has been doing, in which stack, with which language, how exactly all of this tied in together, No one has the answer. I mean, we can get the answer if we actually get in touch with you and ask you about this, but the thing is, we will never find you like this. When you are going to the platform and you're writing your resume, you need to think in a more detailed, more technical manner. Most of us are writing these resumes as a side note. So we have been using a resume for years, and whenever we switch an opportunity, we just type in a few words and push it forward, right? Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Here in Turing, it almost never works. The idea is to go back to your resume, to my Turing resume section on the platform, sit back and have a bit of thought and attention to it. So in terms of algorithms, in terms of connecting data points, in terms of getting the machine to know that you are a perfect person for a specific job, these kind of things work better. So let's say that you have been taking a bunch of these tests. The first thing that our algorithm will do, it will notice that you actually flag these skills here. So in this case, these are TypeScript, React Native, and Redux. This here is something else. But flagging it just like this, it's nothing but a tag. So it has value, but it does not have that much value. You need to provide a context as well. So here, this person developed web API using backend PHP and whatnot, right? This one used React Native and so on. So there needs to be a clear context between the tests that you have been taking, the tags that you have been tagging, and the things that you have been doing. When all of this is present, the algorithm will know that you are the best person for this job, and it will actually tell us that we need to take a look. Okay, so algorithm did flag you, and we come to play, and we read this resume, these specific resumes. These two resumes are, by the way, from the people who are working with the clients. And we'll just take a look whether all of this makes sense. I mean, theoretically, you can just type in anything here as long as you hit keywords. So we'll figure out whether this is something that we want to be sending to the clients. And in this case, it is. Here, it is clear what these people do or what these people did in the past. This person was leading a team. This person had some impact on the project. Also, there is a outcome. There are no specific metrics here, but it's always a good idea to include metrics in whatever you're writing, because in the end, machines and algorithms aside, all of these things are being read by humans, not just by us, but by the clients as well. And as you may imagine, everyone loves a nice clean piece of data which shows that you have improved something. And when you come thinking about resumes in this manner, it's easy to overdo it. This specific resume, it has all the data that our algorithms needed and so on. But as I mentioned, resumes are being read by humans, especially by the clients. And sometimes clients just do not wish to read through 2 pages of a single project. Imagine this person has 5 or 6 or 10 projects. Imagine this person has 15 years of experience. It's a short novel, essentially, right? So you need to balance it out. And we understand that this may be difficult for most of you. You are developers, not writers. English may not be your first language. It probably isn't your first language. You may have never written in this manner in English, but that's where our team comes in. And we help you style this, we'll help you in formatting and so on. But that all comes after we get in touch with you. Right now, you are at the phase where we need to call you. And in order for us to know that you exist, you need to follow a certain guidelines, as I was mentioning. So tag the skills, explain the context, and take more tests. The other important thing is your availability. So the platform will keep sending you these reminders every 15 days, and this will reset if you do not apply. When I say reset, you will just be put into available for jobs. Now, why is that important? When we are reviewing your profile, and if we see that you are unavailable for jobs, we'll just try to contact you via email or via WhatsApp just to verify whether this information is correct and whether you want to be sent to the clients. But there is an additional component to all of this. Once you get a call from us, your profile, your skill sets, your whatnots become available to the clients. So without any specific job in mind, the client can log into the platform and they can browse using keywords and searches based on what they need, and they can see you. If you got the call from us, the clients know that you exist and they may wish to hire you and call you to an interview. If this is put to unavailable for jobs, they will not see you. So If you are indeed serious, and if you want to get an offer or want to be invited to an interview, the idea is to have this open, either ready to the interview, either open to offers. Of course, if you are not available, you are not available, but don't let it go to the automatic reset. Every 15 days, if nothing is happening in terms of getting interviews or getting hired, just confirm your availability, and that's it. By doing so, you're just increasing your chances of getting hired. So to summarize all of this, in order to increase your chances, you need to get back, take some more tests. You need to rethink how you have written your resume. Be very specific about it, be technical about it. Tag the skills, describe how you use these skills, describe the context. Avoid describing what the application or what the web does. Avoid describing what kind of business problem it solves. In many cases, it is interesting, but it is not something that the clients necessarily want to see. They want to know how exactly you use the technology in the previous role. And remember, this is the technology that you are going to be using in the role that they are considering you for. So if all they are reading about is what the application did in the past, and they have no clue what tools you use to develop this application, this won't go very well, right? This is most important for people who are working mainly front-end or mobile development. Many of you tend to write about applications or about design and stuff. Mention it, okay, if you're proud of it, and you should be proud of it, but basically focus on technology. And if you have metrics available, be sure to include them. And as I mentioned, keep your availability up to date. It's important on many levels. If you're not available, of course, you can always set it back later, but don't let it go to automatic reset. So thank you for listening. I'm leaving you with Fernanda at the moment, and I'll see you back at Q&A.
See you soon. Bye. Well, I hope this was useful and insightful. Let me go back to sharing my screen so we can keep going with our agenda. Okay, so guys, if you don't follow us yet, please do. Okay, it's a great way to keep connected and tuned in our community and everything that is going on. We keep sharing tips and relevant content for remote developers on all of our social media channels: Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, okay, at Turing.com. Please go there. If you want to share some insights or how much you enjoyed this event today with us on your Twitter, you can definitely use hashtag TuringDevTownHall or hashtag boundaryless and then tag us there. We love to read and go through your tweets and learn what were some key takeaways and what you learned from us today. When it comes to our community, we are now a very large and vibrant community of vetted boundaryless developers that are serving hundreds of quality companies globally. I am super happy and proud to be conducting and driving many of our community and career initiatives at Turing. And also, right now, we are really focusing on discussing and thinking through initiatives related to career, mentorship programs, or career path programs that every developer can have access to once they join Turing. So yes, again, we want to be like the best workplace for software engineers in the world. Now, let's meet Pedro. Pedro is a Turing developer, and I'm sure he has a very nice, interesting success story with Turing. So Pedro, why don't you join us?
Hello. Hello,
Hi there.
everyone. Hi, Fernanda.
Nice to see you, Pedro. I'm gonna leave you to share your story, like who you are, a little bit of your professional background, how you came across Turing, and what your journey at Turing has been like so far.
Perfect.
Perfect.
So thanks for inviting me for this town hall event, and thanks everyone watching. Hello, my name is Pedro Laviano. I am from São Paulo, Brazil, and I am a Turing software engineer. I started working more than 10 years ago and have been through many technology consultancies, worked with many companies in my life, developing solutions with a diversity of technologies that each client presented, and trying to adopt newer technologies, frameworks, and concepts as well. in each business challenge that I was presented with. So all that experience was crucial for me as I could be a developer and more generally a solutions architect, senior software engineer with the goal to deliver business value with all that work. So going through all of these specific challenges and working in different companies, I was looking for an alternative to the traditional office option. And as we all know, with the pandemic, non-remote companies weren't born to support remote work. So I started applying for companies, mainly abroad, because that would force us to work in a remote first approach from the beginning. So that's when I started being vetted by the processes, and there was many companies, but Turing really caught me in an Instagram ad. And it was really nice. And I thought I was already being vetted in other processes. Why not that one? And I started looking for Turing. I see this skyrocket history. It's a young company, but already growing so fast. And that really caught my attention. And I applied to it. I put my resume there. It was really fast. It processed my resume and filled in my skills. And 5 to 10 minutes, it was everything clear. I was ready to go to the next step and take the tech stacks. I already have 10 years of experience. I worked with many technologies. I took a lot of tech stacks, different tech stacks, and I think that's the key point for everyone. Taking different tech stacks for every technology that you know will increase your chance of being matched by the jobs. And as Matko said, English may not be your first language, but Turing people will help you do that, and they are great on doing that. They want you to be matched. So feel free to ask how to reach support. Everyone here works for your success as well, because your success is Turing's success. And I was vetted. I filled the tech stacks. I did the coding challenge, and then I got matched. It was a little bit different from the default process because I was selected by Turing to work at Turing's internal development team. But it is the same process that I took: tech stacks, coding challenge, build a resume, and then you got matched. We are developing tools to help you. You have the developer portal, you have the availability status. Make sure you get all that to help you set your availability, check for the recommended tech stacks, fill in your resume, get the tips, put everything that you did in a technology so the matching algorithm can look at that, and even the interviewers can look at your resume and see that you are an interesting person. You must fill the tech stacks to let the platform know that you know the technology part, but be aware that you need to be a good communicator. You need to have soft skills as well. Be prepared to be an interesting person for the companies as well, because that counts too. You are being matched along with a bunch of developers, so you really need to stand out. And that's why we are calling here the top 1% developer. There are a lot of jobs. Get in touch with the community, get used to work on the portal, be in touch with new technologies, train yourself, train your communication skills as well. It will be done. You will get there. You will get a match.
Yes, that's right. Thank you so much, Pedro. That was super insightful when you talked about like also having nice soft skills and communication skills. That's definitely important. And even on the post-match process, uh, communication is definitely an important thing. This was super nice, Pedro. Thank you so much for joining and sharing. we can open for questions and answers, and maybe we can have Matko come back, and then we can have our sub-lead of support as well. Everyone,
Hello, people.
hi there. Sid is here
Hi,
too.
Fernanda.
Here.
Pedro.
Hey, guys. So, guys, we're gonna go over those questions. So I'm gonna start with the first one from Jess. He's asking, do we need to pass all the recommended tasks to get starting matched?
Thanks for asking that question. Right, so you don't need to take all recommended tests on the platform. It's basically a plus point. It's like the more the test, the more the weightage you have on your profile. Our system is AI based and it recommends tests based on your profile. So if you are able to take it, then it's a very good thing. I would recommend take it, but it's not mandatory.
The more of these you take, the higher are the chances. So if you have time, do it.
Yeah.
Awesome. We have Ayodele, and he's asking, mention this skill at least 3 times in project detail. Does this mean I should mention PHP in at least 3 projects or 3 times in a single project?
So Turing majorly focus on enhancing the product and giving the developers the smoothest experience. And we recently did some revamping to increase the matchability rate. And there we have this feature where you need to mention the skill at least 3 times in each of the project that you mentioned. As an example, if you have PHP test passed, if you have mentioned 2 to 3 projects in your get match tab, you need to mention the skill 3 times in each of the details in the project. So that increases the matchability rate, and we will be able to match you better and sooner. So that's how it is. I hope that answers your question.
Anthony is asking, are there job opportunities like QA in Turing?
Thanks, Anthony. Thanks for asking this question. So we get fewer job requests for QA roles, but it doesn't mean that we don't match for QA roles. It's surely something that we can work on. But we do have fewer requests for QA roles compared to the in-demand technologies that we have. So if you think that you are into QA and you want to pursue in the same line, then you can surely try taking tests. We do have a particular test for that. You can take that. And as soon as we have some requirements, our team will get in touch with you. But it all depends on what is in demand and what is not. Things keep changing. What you see today in demand, that wouldn't be there in the next 20 days.
Okay, awesome, thanks. All right, I took old HTML, CSS, Java test, but that was broken up. Do I need to take the test again?
So like I said before, Turing focuses on enhancing the platform actively to give the best possible experience to developers. So I would suggest taking the test again because you have an advantage here. That is, let's say that you attempted HTML, CSS, JS test already and you scored a bit less. But since we have an update, you are given a chance to reattempt it. So maybe this time you can score better. This is like an added advantage. I would suggest taking this test again. But you can still reach out to support@turing.com. We'll have a look at your profile. We'll see what's wrong. And if there's anything that we can do from our end, we'll surely do it. But I would suggest if you have an option to attempt it again, then please go for it.
Yeah, perfect. Thanks, Sid. One last question here. I have tutorial publications in Medium and YouTube. Can I include them in publication section in my resume section?
Do you want to take
What
the
do you guys
mic?
I mean, I don't see why not, right? So if it's relevant, if it makes sense in the context of your career, go ahead and do it. As mentioned, more data we have, the better for everyone. The clients regularly look at your side projects and publications if you have them. So if you have it, go for it.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Thanks, everyone. Guys, if you need some sort of individualized or personalized assistance, you can reach out to support@turing.com. We do hope this has been useful and insightful for you. Again, your success is our success. We have a huge team working every day to make sure that you were matched. We want you guys to succeed in our platform. That's our biggest mission. Thank you, Sia. Thank you, Pedro. Thank you, Matko. Thank you, guys, for being here today.
Yeah.
Thank you, Fernanda.
Thanks for inviting.
Thanks, everyone.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Thanks everyone for joining.
And we do hope to see you guys soon.